Good morning, everybody. This is Leaford and Mike. I noticed today that I'm on my 2000th post at e-cigaretteforum.com, and so we thought we would do something a little bit special. Today I'm going to revisit my 5 favorite e-cigs. It's been a long time since I made that list, and quite frankly, I've tried a lot of different units since then and would make some very different choices. So, it's time to update. One of the reasons I haven't updated earlier, though, is because these things do wear out and degrade over time, and so it's kind of hard to coordinate a moment when I've got good uh, good copies that are working at their best of all 5 models that I might want to include. And that's the case today. So, just as a warning, to get a better look at better demos of any of these, take a look at the full reviews. So, to get to it, we'll start with the Long Totem V1. That right now is absolutely my favorite because of the amount of smoke it produces. You can get this from Smoke 51, from ePuffer as their E's Magnum, and from e-cig.com as the new mini cig. This particular one I'm using the e-cig.com cartridges and the ePuffer batteries. The ePuffer batteries are the best performing of this variety, and the e-cig.com cartridges are the least expensive option for the cartridges at only $1.50 each. Excuse me, this is about my 5th take. I've been vaping a lot on the first 2 attempts. As I say, I love it for the amount of vapor and for how long the cartridges last. A cartridge will last anywhere from 6 to 12 hours depending on use. It is equivalent to a full pack, or at least a good cartridge is. That's the downside. I've been finding a lot of bad cartridges, and other than the ePuffer Magnum, I find that the batteries are very poor, so that's the downside. But the upside is long lasting and just awesome amount of vapor. Look how long a cone of vapor extends. It stretches out for a good 3 feet. Just awesome, just awesome. And of course, look at the full review for an even better demo. The number 2 choice, the number 2 on my list is the DSE 601 E-pipe, and this is available in the U.S. I recommend e-cig USA. In Europe, e-cig, and in the Asia Pacific region, you can get it from David Yang's e-cigarette mall. It runs about $70 to $80, and all of those places that I mentioned have warranties, so you can get replacement atomizers when they fail. This particular one, I have a replacement coming in. It failed just last week, but I got a good month of use of it out of it before it failed. This particular one is from e-cig USA. Unfortunately, I can't demo it because it did fail. So take a look at the full review for a demo. The downside on these is that when the atomizer fails, you basically have to replace the whole unit. But the upside is great amount of vapor. The cartridges hold 2 milliliters, and you do get through about 1.5 milliliters, so that's a good pack and a half worth of smoking. And of course, the batteries are the longest lasting option you can get for an e-cigarette. These will last anywhere from 9 hours up to, I've had them go up to even 18 hours. Of course, that is fairly light use. But nothing else will match this for those performance measures. The number 3 is actually more of a category than one particular brand, because I found 3 that match up to it. Number 3 is a good, high-quality pen style. What I'm starting right now, going to refer to as the Perfect 5 atomizers. And by that I mean in terms of atomizer performance, both for smoke output and for ease of draw, these are Perfect 5 out of 5. This one is from Sedanza, the Sedanza Diva. I haven't tried the Sedanza Omni, but I believe it will match up to the Diva at least. The Janty Classic also scores Perfect 5, and I haven't finished the evaluation on it, but I just tried out the e-cigarette Mall's DSE 801, and that also is a Perfect 5 atomizer. So 3 different options. I'm sure there may be others, but those are my. But right now, those stand as my top 3 pen style recommendations. Now I pair that with a USB pass-through. This particular one is the manual switch USB from the Janty Kiss box, or when I'm away from a computer, with an extra long life battery. These ones are from Sedanza. David Yang's electronic e-cigarette Mall also advertises extra long life battery. And by extra long life, I mean I get about 120 to 130 5-second puffs out of this compared to a normal pen style, which delivers about 100. So 20 to 30 extra puffs per battery. So a Perfect 5 atomizer with a USB pass-through and an extra long life battery for when away from the computer. That's my number 3. Number 4 and 5 are actually more like honorable mentions than favorites. And I say that only because the first 3 take care of all of my e-smoking needs, so I've hardly had to touch any others for the past 3 months. But still, these are minis, and I wanted to include some minis in my top 5, and these are also my top recommendations for beginners for their first e-cig. The first one is the DSE 901. This produces a good amount of smoke, 3 to 4 on my scale of 1 to 5. They have a fairly easy draw. I'd say, again, between a 3 and a 4. The battery life and cartridge life isn't very impressive, but it is more than most other minis. But above all, for a beginner, these are reliable. They have a very low out-of-the-box failure rate, and they tend to be durable, lasting anywhere from 2 weeks to 2 months, depending on use. They are inexpensive, another important thing for a beginner's first e-cigarette, and they are available with warranties from places like e-Smoky Treats in the U.S., Light-Cig USA in the U.S., e-cigarette Mall in Asia. I don't know of a European seller that offers warranty. Oh, sorry, yes I do, Sedanza, but those are very expensive. Overall, like I say, a generic 901 is the best bet for a beginner. It gives you a good introduction to cartridges, to refilling cartridges, to dripping if you want to drip, to recharging, all the basics of e-cigarette use. DSE 901. Now, I want to note that some 901s are better than others. The very first 901s that I tried were actually quite superior to the 901s that are available now, like so. This is my last remaining of those early 901 atomizers, and this one does do as well as a pen style. A 4, sometimes even a 5 for vapor. I'd give it a 4.5. If you can get one of these early models, that is absolutely the best option for a 901 mini. Number 5, or my number 2 honorable mention, is the M401. This one is from Light-Cig USA, also available, of course, Light-Cig in Europe. This one actually would bump the 901 down a notch, except it hasn't been around long enough to establish this track record for reliability that the 901 has. In time, this may bump the 901 as my top recommendation for beginners. It produces similar vapor to the early 901s and has battery life and cartridge life very comparable to a good 901. It is fairly easy to use, it's reliable, it has a fairly light draw, it's overall very good, nearly as good as the, really as good as the 901, but it just doesn't have the track record yet. Okay, this one isn't performing that well, it's about 3 months old, so this is what I was saying before about not necessarily being able to give good demos on this top 5. See the original review for a better demo. So that's my top 5. The various iterations of the Long Totem V9, the DSE 601 E-pipe, a Perfect 5 atomizer with a USB pass-through or an extended life battery, the DSE 901, best if you can get one of the originals, and the M401. I had to rush through that. Once again, take a look at my full reviews for better demos of all of those. But that's my top 5.